All right. Good evening, everybody. Glad to see a full group tonight. We have a huge slideshow. We'll wait a few minutes. And I have started our live streams. All right. While we wait for the stragglers, there are a few announcements that I'd like to make. The first is there was an issue at our last meeting on the YouTube and the Twitch live streams. I think I was the only voice that could be heard. I think I fixed that. We'll find out after or during tonight's meeting. So I apologize for that. Still working on it. Announcement number 2 that I wanted to make. Welcome, Melinda. The Golden Gate Stereoscopic Society is highlighted in this month's issue of Stereoscopy magazine, which is the journal of the ISU, the International Stereographic Union. Let me open it up to the page here. And not only that, but yours truly is also featured. So here's our page, and there's a short gallery that follows it. This is the second time that we've been featured in Stereoscopy. So well done. And if you'd like a copy, I encourage you to join the International Stereoscopic Union. I think the journal, the quarterly journal, is worth the cost. And finally, let me just check my notes here before we start the slideshow.
So can you
Yes.
remind me, I have this open in Twitch. Can you remind me how to, I don't do this often enough, how to share it from Twitch?
Yeah, I'm actually doing the same thing right now. So once you have it playing full screen in Twitch, if you tap it in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see some icons, a settings icon and a share icon and a cast icon.
Okay.
And if you tap that,
That was the, so then it says copy link or share link or send to Whisper.
tap the share link.
Okay.
That should open up a list of apps, and look for LeiaTube.
That was the missing step I needed. Thank you.
They don't make it easy.
No, they don't.
And I don't know if they will. But
Well,
I'll take what we can get.
yeah, so I've basically given up on Leia. I'm not giving them any more of my money. So I am sort of upset with what they did to me on the immersive AI, because I had a bunch of credits and they just expired them all, and I thought I had a few more months to use them, and they just all went away. And I just thought they're not the company that was customer focused that they once were.
Yeah, that's very true. They're not the same company anymore. And I think they're more like an intellectual property type company than a manufacturer anymore. They're not so much interested in the hardware, which is too bad because it's such a nice device. All right. Thank you, Herb. I'll make one more announcement. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you for sharing
the
how to do this.
You got it. Oh, let me put the meeting links in the chat. That's the last thing I wanted to do. I think everyone here by now has these links. These are how we can live stream the slideshow for various 3D devices. So before we start with our slideshow tonight, we have a brief workshop from Roberto, who's going to be showing us his latest rig, plus an example photo. So let me share my screen. And that should be Bob. Welcome, Bob.
Hey there. I'm trying to get on Twitch. I didn't think I had it installed, so I just downloaded it. But we'll probably need a tutorial on that.
That's fine. We actually just had a tutorial. Happy to do it again. Okay, and I think I am now sharing my screen. For those who are following along on Zoom, can you see our full width side-by-side title card?
Yep.
Fantastic. Yep. Bob, how are you doing with Twitch? Are you still installing it?
Well, actually, I've got my Loom pad here, but it was out of juice, so it's charging. Okay. So I may just do that as my secondary.
Got it.
Viewing platform and try Twitch at another time when I have time to do that.
That sounds fine. So we're going to jump into our workshop. Let me advance our screen. And if I've got this set up correctly, we should be seeing Roberto's new stereo photography rig. If you're following along on Zoom, Twitch or YouTube, there'll be a delay of 10 or 15 seconds or so. Roberto, if you can see it, go ahead and tell us about this setup.
Sure. Thank you, Matt. Yes, I was working with a project about stereoscopic ways to, a way to get a stereoscopic setup. And I was working with the RXOs. I have bought 4 of these. But the problem with this is like the focal length of the camera is fixed to 24 millimeters. So sometimes it's difficult to get a better feel of depth because it's recommended. Well, I have read that around 74 millimeters, it's the right way to get a right stereoscopic feel. Yep. So I used to have, I am a big fan of rare cameras like the QX1. The setup that you are watching on the screen is the first one. Well, I don't know. I don't remember which one is which, but the first one I bought it about, I don't know, like 5 years, 6 years ago, and I was fortunate to found it on a right price because it used to be really expensive at the time. So I used to have it, and then about 2 weeks ago, I found a second one, and I remember that these cameras they have only the sensor. They don't have a screen that makes the body of the camera bigger, so the sensors can be closer to each other, so you don't have to worry about the how far they should be to get the right stereoscopic effect. So I bought this second one, and this second one, it was also cheap, and it was almost brand new. The guy that sold it to me, he gave me everything, and some elements were already still wrapped on the original bag, and it was in a really good shape, so it was a bargain. He told me that he paid around $1,000, and he sold it to me for about $150. So it was really cheap with the lens. It was really cheap. The best thing about this rig is that the lenses can be interchanged. This is an APS-C camera. So if I feel that I need an effect, like I have, I don't know, a motion blur, I can give it a longer exposure. The RXO only give me about 1/4 of a second, the lowest shutter speed. So it was like I cannot get like a motion blur like someone walking and only see like a ghost. I can do that. I cannot do that with the RXO. With this one, I can go all the way up to 30 seconds. So it's easier for me to get some effects. And also with the interchangeable lenses, I can get I don't remember the autofocus, the background. I don't remember right now
the depth
the
of
name
field.
of the depth of field, but the bokeh.
The bokeh, yeah.
Yeah. You know, I have right now I have like lenses, 1.4 aperture lenses, so it's a really luminous lens, and the effect of the capture of the pictures are more professional. So with this, I arranged this setup. The setup is similar to the one that I made with the RXO because they are similar. I triggered the shutter with the same setup like the RXO because they have the multi port. So I have this intervalometer, remote intervalometer, that can trigger up to, well, if I can synchronize the channel of as many as I want cameras, because I can fix the channel of the intervalometer, the receiver and the transmitter, so I can put infinite number of cameras all the way of the range of the trigger. So in this case, I have two. I split the shutter to two with a J cable, a mini plug that is the way that the intervalometer get out the signal. And then I use a couple of iPod touches. That's why I have that power bank on the top of the rig, because the iPod touches are really also they cannot hold the charge, so I have to keep charging them. And also the screen is always on, so the battery lasts the shortest time of when I am shooting that. But mainly this is the rig that I built. The closest that I can get the lenses is about 7.5 centimeters, 75 millimeters. So it's closer to the real field of the stereoscopic recommendation, that is the distance of our eyes. In this case, I am using it with like about 9 centimeters, one from each other lenses. And the picture that I took, it was with this distance. And I believe that the effect of that I got it was really nice, and everything. I believe the textures that I can get from this distance, it's a really nice feeling of the stereoscopic. Maybe in the picture that I'm I asked Matt if it's okay to have a nude theme, because last weekend we had this demonstration about nudity, and but it was really nice because the event was respectful. It was a really smooth event, so everything was okay, and everyone was okay with the pictures and posing and everything. So it was a really nice event. So this picture, I took it with the rig that you saw before. This was the focal length. It was 24 millimeters, the same as the RXO, but with the APS-C sensor. So it can capture more light. So the dynamic range of the light, I can rescue more stuff from the shadows and from the highlights. So in the end, the balance of the picture is more like an HDR image. So I believe this is a better way to capture the image, the richness. I believe the possibilities with this rig is it's better than the RXO, but there's a little problem with the camera. I don't know why. When I trigger the shutter, sometimes it's like a fraction of a second, one from another. I don't know if it's I have to update the firmware of something, but it's a little bit slower. So in some images, I get like if someone is moving really fast, it's like one maybe half a step away. So it makes a mess with the stereoscopic version. But I am working on that, trying to fix that. But so far, I believe that the results are really nice from this setup.
Well, thank you, Roberto. I'm going to stop you right here so we can move on to the slideshow. But I do have questions, and I think there might be some other questions in this group. So let's hold those questions until the end of the meeting. But this is very interesting. Thank you, Roberto. I've got some technical questions to ask you myself. And I think this is a fantastic photo, too.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Roberto. We do have another large slideshow tonight, our common problem. So I'm going to ask that we keep our comments limited to 3 or maybe 4 minutes per photo so that we can finish on time and we can give the exhibitors later in the slideshow the same attention with our comments that we do the earlier photos. And that said, I'm going to go ahead to our first slideshow image tonight, which is by Oleg, and the title is You Had Better Pair Stop. I probably mispronounced that. Oleg, tell us what we're looking at here.
Well,
there we go. Sorry about that. I skipped ahead one more on the Zoom screen share. Should be back now.
Okay, I went through a trip with my cousin Geraldine in southern. Anyway, she happens to be here. She came to visit me, and she's listening on to the program here.
Oh, welcome.
Thank you.
Anyway, this was during the trip. We had to stop several times because of construction on the roadway. And I just like in this particular picture, all of the reds.
I like that nice clear vanishing point in the middle.
Yeah, that was important.
Oleg, are you watching the slideshow on your 3D TV?
Yes, but it's reduced size, so I don't see it. It's not the best way to look at it.
Okay. I wonder if there's something I can do on my end.
No, that's not a.
That's not it. It's on your screen.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to make sure your guest is enjoying the slideshow too. Very nice. Thank you, Oleg. We'll come back to Oleg in a bit, but let's move on to one by Melinda. Man versus Nature is the title.
Yeah, so this is in the Presidio. Just spotted it on one of my walks. Just a couple of old buildings being taken over by nature, and also I think some homeless people were finding some shelter in some of these basements. I think I recently saw the spot again, and it's been sealed up, so it's not quite the same spooky window as before, but I just kind of liked the feel of it.
Yeah, it's Great you captured it before it was too late.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably good that they've closed those up, but yeah, it's not it's no longer spooky, for better or worse.
Looks like you shot it maybe on an overcast day or in shadow.
In shadow, definitely. This is north facing, and it was probably overcast. And this is just the X1, and I don't think I changed anything. Even the cropping. I might have set the stereo window a little bit. The H1 puts the stereo window way in the back.
I think it works for this.
Yeah, it's got a good amount of depth on my screen.
No, I was just talking about the depth of the stereo window, not the separation. Separation
Yeah.
was fine. This is the native separation.
Yeah, I don't think we need anything coming right up to the window. I think this works well.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you, Melinda.
Thank you.
I would like to welcome Phyllis, who patiently waited for this meeting to exhibit her first set of photos that she's sharing with the Golden Gate Stereoscopic Society. So let's all welcome Phyllis, and let's hear about Da Shang Man with Pipe. Phyllis, if I mispronounce that, let me know. But please tell us all about the stereo photo.
All right. I had the good fortune of many years ago going to China to document the Three Gorges Dam that was being built. And this was when I first, this is before the dam was built. I mean, they were in the process, but the river hadn't taken over the town yet. This is the town of the Chang, and they had never seen a white woman before. This was like being in the 1800s. The furniture was all handmade. It was very primitive. It was really quite amazing. The people were very good about letting me photograph. They were very curious about what I was doing. And are all the pictures together or not?
They're randomized, so yours will be coming up not in a particular order throughout the slideshow.
Okay. Well, this gentleman had a very long pipe, and this was his shop, and sold various things, including tobaccos and various other things. So,
I assume that's tobacco in the pipe.
as far as I know, I don't know what was in the pipe. I didn't ask. We did have a language barrier.
It was a great shot.
Probably too far away.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So this is originated on film, I'm guessing?
Yes, I actually shot all of these on my very favorite stereo camera, which was the RBT S1. I love that camera. So 35 millimeter, and it was my favorite camera. I took about 5 cameras with me, including a pair of Sony's. So, and a medium format camera too.
Did you convert this to digital and then manipulate it? Because you have really excellent shadow.
No, this is pretty much how it was. I did digitize it, but I didn't really have to do much to any of them. The S1 was a fabulous camera. I just thought it was amazing.
Yes, it's great. It's a great picture.
On all of these ended up in a slideshow that I presented to NSA and got a polling award for.
Okay. And this location no longer exists. Is it underwater now? Is that right?
It is underwater, and all the residents were moved to a new town full of white tile buildings, apartments. these people had never moved. They'd been for centuries, literally, they'd been next door neighbors because people didn't move. And all of a sudden they were displaced into this new area that, and it was random. Whoever first got the apartment. So they were no longer necessarily near each other. So it was very unsettling for everybody.
Yeah, only China can do that kind of thing.
Well, thank you for sharing this, and the next 3 that you've submitted will be coming up soon, and I can't wait to share them as well.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Phyllis. Bob, you're up next with Alcatraz Hyper 2.
Yes, I like this. This was the opposite view of the one that I presented last time.
You were in a helicopter when you captured this, is that right?
Correct. Yeah. I was using a DSLR, just taking sequential photos.
Did you manipulate the image after the fact at all? Did you?
Just some filtering. And I may have cloned out a bird or two or whatever. It might have been an anomaly in the shot, but it's pretty straightforward. I submitted this because I'm another related shot coming up that's also, in fact, if it'll show that building on the right and that docking area.
And I think that's where the tourist ferry comes in and lets you off.
Correct.
I love the composition. So, is it a wide angle lens too?
I think it was a 24.
It was a very nice expansive.
Yeah, I like the
view.
Well, really, kind of shows the topography of the island. It would have been nice for a clearer day where the bridge was a little more prominent, but
That's fine. I mean, the island is the subject, and the bridge is a beautiful background.
It is a characteristic hazy day.
Yeah.
Did you play with the clarity or the dehaze tools in Photoshop at all with this?
I did. I like using camera raw, and went in there and did do some dehazing. And I forget what else I did on this, but I may have run it through Topaz as well.
Yeah, it looks great. Did you shoot this on film, or was this a DSLR?
This was, I believe it was digital, but I had a drive die on me, so I have a lot of things that I haven't been able to locate just now. So I'm fairly certain, given the number of shots that I took that day, that I wasn't changing film. So I'm pretty certain it was my Canon digital camera that I had.
Well, Bob, I'm sorry to hear you lost a drive.
Yeah, I'm waiting. When anything comes up that I can't find, I'm just assuming it's on that drive. And so far, I've been able to find copies. So at some point, I may have to drag it into Drive Savers and give them my firstborn to retrieve the information. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. It's a constant risk.
I know. I have so many drives, and as they say, it's not a matter of if, only a question of when. So
yeah. Well, good luck with that. Keep us posted.
I will do.
Lovely Alcatraz image, and we will see a variation of this from Bob a little bit later tonight. Thanks, Bob.
Sure.
Steve, we have one by you coming up next. The title is Hungarian Parliament Building.
Yeah, I've shown this particular one before, I think from a bus. This is from a boat. So it's a boat cha-cha. And I mean, I do think this is a beautiful structure. And the two couple of things to manipulate it. I mean, the cars are moving, so I cloned from the left to the right, and then there was a patch sort of like above the second car counting from the left. There's it's kind of a little triangular shape that was the brightest thing in the image. I guess the sunlight was hitting it like a concrete slab or something. So I just darkened it. I just put a layer in there and then darkened that. And that's it. I think that's all I did. Oh, I may have increased the saturation on the sky. I think I did.
I probably would have tried shadow highlights just to bring out the dark windows and things.
I might have done that too. I kind of do that almost automatically, just like run it through just to see what it does. But yeah, I don't know if I did it. Didn't think I was looking into the windows because they're kind of small, but I can give that a shot.
I usually avoid it, but sometimes it's super helpful. I find it's best to use in moderation.
Yeah.
A little bit is good, more is bad.
Thanks for the tip.
It's nice you captured that bridge too. I don't recognize the bridge, but it's a nice feature for this composition.
I actually have a close-up of that bridge. I don't know. I don't think I've submitted it here.
It's nice that there's still stereo depth way back there.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about cha-chas is you can get a lot of depth from stuff that's far away.
Yeah, it is very hyper for me, but it's comfortable on my loom pad.
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, I only see it, with these glasses here, and hope it looks good on TV or on the loom pad.
Can I ask Matt how you're viewing it on the loom pad? Which link did you use?
So, do you have the
I have the
Twitch
meetings
app?
link open, but it doesn't seem to give me much choice other than YouTube or Twitch for the auto stereo tablets.
Yeah, what you'll want to use is Twitch. I'm going to put the link in the chat, the Zoom chat again, but you can find it. Or you can go into the Twitch app on your loom pad and search for GGSS3D. One word.
I've got it pulled up as a side-by-side pair on here, but I don't know if I have Twitch installed on the loom pad yet, so that may be a problem. I don't want to hang people up, but
Sure.
if there's an easy way to link to get that. I was getting an image earlier of a side-by-side that was converted to the auto stereo, but of course it was squeezed. So.
Right. Well, I'll just tell you real quick. If you want to try clicking the link I put in the chat, that'll open it up in a web browser. And once it's playing, you'll see the half width side by side. You can then tap a share icon on the web browser screen. It'll be in the upper right hand corner, and then share it with the loom pad. So you can poke around with that.
Okay, well, I'll try to get back on in some other form because I'm not on the meeting yet on my loom pad. So,
well, good luck. As
Yeah,
we were
thanks.
saying, they don't make it easy.
No.
And thank you, Steve, for Hungarian Parliament building.
Yeah, thank you.
Was this taken from the same trip where you captured the image of this structure that you showed us earlier?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the same day. I think it's certainly the same trip.
You didn't
Only
fly
and
back to
everything.
get another shot of this.
I'm sorry.
You didn't fly back to get another shot of this?
No, and Hungary. It's a little tense over there because of Orban. But
That's right.
yeah, we encountered some minor problems when they held up the bus, but nothing serious.
Well, thank you, Steve. We'll be seeing more from you later. Our next photo is by Jay, who has not yet joined us tonight. He does have 4 submissions. He may have forgotten. He may be joining us later. The title of this is Nikkei. I think I pronounced that correctly. Nikkei. He may be watching on our Twitch or YouTube live stream. So let's share some feedback with him, assuming that he's watching.
It's action. I assume this is with the loom pad.
Yeah, I'll make the same assumption. That seems to be his primary camera. He's the only loom pad stereo photographer who I'm aware of.
So he must have gotten pretty close to get depth out of that.
Yeah, it does have does have good depth.
Pretty good image quality too.
Yeah.
That's a good moment.
Yes, it is. Yeah, he has a
All the
nice
faces.
amount of light in this enclosed space. I wonder if he manipulated the image with shadow highlights or if he just got lucky with the light.
They all look like they're really enjoying what they're doing.
Yeah, they are. We'll see another angle of this where they'll reinforce that. And I imagine that when this was viewed live, they all appeared to be in synchronization, but the camera doesn't lie. Well, thank you, Jay. We'll come back to you if you make it later. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. And we have 3 more. Oh, I'm sorry. I think 2 more by you coming up. Until then, let's move on to our next image, which is by me. And the title is John Deere, which is the name of the tractor. And I shot this at the West Coast Dream Machines show in Half Moon Bay last month. Maybe it was 6 or 8 weeks ago now. I showed a few other photos from that event at our last meeting. And I was happy with this one. I like the way the barrier creates a frame for the faces of the admirers of this tractor. Sky's a little dark. I could probably lighten it up. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
I like that internal border that it makes.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's the first thing I noticed when I walked by this scene. And I was lucky that I had these admirers really intently scrutinizing the thing.
What's the story with that piston?
It's clearly not from this tractor. It's some very large engine.
So weird.
I like the way the yellow is distributed all around the picture.
I was thinking about you, Oleg. What would you do with this?
Yeah,
Would you
I
like
wish
accentuate it, or
I wish I took the picture.
Oh, thank you, Oleg.
what would you do with it, Oleg?
Show it to you.
No, I mean, like, would you accentuate the yellow or turn everything
Oh,
else grayscale, or
No, I would. That's perfect. I'd like to. I would make the sky darker.
Darker. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking of lightening it, but I'll try darkening it too.
It looks like there's some details in the clouds that would be interesting.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing about this. I think the sky would look more interesting if it was darker. I do like the sky. I definitely wouldn't lighten it.
Okay.
You could change the name of it to John Ear.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Well, thank you for the feedback. Yeah, I will try
That's not your
darkening.
fault, Matt. That's John Deere.
That's John Deere,
I
right?
put that smokestack right there.
Right
I put it right in the way.
All right, thank you, everyone. Let's move on to Oleg's second photo of tonight's slideshow, which is called Rusty Roofed Barn and View of Highway 37.
Yeah, here I just like the colors. I used my new speed the border took me about 1 minute to put together.
It's a very nice composition.
When I was reaching for these viewers, I felt like I was reaching for my sunglasses because I mean it's really, really bright. I would darken it. I would darken it a couple of stops. It's really, really bright.
yeah, I have to agree.
Yeah, I don't see any long shadows. I'm guessing you took this probably when the sun was pretty high in the sky, Oleg.
Yeah, it was almost noontime.
It's very nice colors and a great composition.
Certainly pastoral.
Yeah, it's very balanced. Looks like it was a hazy day. You don't have too much contrast in those shadows. Did you manipulate them much?
No, it's pretty much the way it looked.
Okay.
The one thing I did, I waited for something to develop on the highway at the rear, and finally that white truck came through.
What's the highway?
Highway 37, I think it is.
37 is is in the title, yeah.
Oh, yes, so it is.
North Bay.
Well, thank you, Oleg. Melinda, you're up next with beach golf.
Yeah, I just I took a walk one day a while ago on Ocean Beach, and there was all kinds of stuff going on. It was freezing, but people were out and they were having barbecues and playing different kinds of sports. And there was this large group of young adults with dozens and dozens of shovels, and they were creating like a golf course in the sand. They dug out like 3 feet deep everywhere, these long tracks, and I don't know what they were doing, but they were very intent, and then they were playing a bunch of golf in this crazy golf course.
Great
So,
legs.
yeah, it's all legs. That's the framing. And then
Did you take several pictures, or is this the one?
I took two. Yeah, there's one other that you might see eventually. I like this one the best. But yeah, it was yeah, a camera with a wider base would have done a better job showing some of the stuff that they were getting up to. It was this one you can see I got in pretty close with the hydrogen one, and I got really lucky with the shot too, because he was sort of sizing up the ball for a long time, and I thought I was late on the exposure, but it looks like I got the ball in flight with the sand being thrown, and I guess the idea is they're aiming for the traffic cone in the back. I'm not really sure. Like I say, it was like a very whole complicated affair, and they all seemed to know what they were doing, but I had sort of no clue.
Yeah, it is an action shot. You've got the sand flying. Obviously, they're not going to make too great a swing, but I think you timed it just perfectly.
Yeah, I think I got very lucky there. I thought I'd missed it.
I think there's a lot of humor in this one also. It's a great perspective, just looking through their legs and then having the one person crouching down in the back. That's where my eye lands.
Yeah, I like to think that they're the referee or something, and this is the end of the competition, or I don't know. I probably should have asked, but it didn't really matter. It was just it's just so surprising, all the equipment they brought out to do the digging, and they had these tamping devices, and it was certainly very well planned, whatever it was.
I guess it's a thing. All right. Thank you, Melinda. Phyllis? Thanks for waiting. Your next photo is coming up. The title is Lunchtime.
These were two children that obviously were stopping for lunch midday inside, I believe, their home. And I was just walking down the street and saw them and thought they were really charming. I also shot this in medium format, black and white. And this one and another image were purchased by the Museum of Fine Arts Houston for their permanent collection. They found me at Photo Fest when I was showing images there.
Congratulations.
But these were, the kids were, well, everybody was just very curious about me too. So not only did I have a strange camera, but I was a white woman and they hadn't seen one before. It was a very isolated village. All of these were right along the Yangtze River.
Love the colors.
Was that a question?
No, I was just saying I love the colors as well. Oh. Gorgeous composition, really nice.
They had very colorful outfits.
Looks like you have Phil Flash on this.
I don't think so. No, not with the S1. No.
See the shadows directly behind the kids. I'm wondering where the light's coming from.
Yes, and the reflection of the bowl.
It was pretty sunny.
Yeah, the illumination is lovely. Being able to look through the doorway into the background, through the darkness, but not the blackness. I can still see all the detail behind the children. It's remarkable.
I like that the chopsticks are nearly parallel. It's a good moment.
Yeah. The children were really just adorable.
And your the shirt you're wearing matches their pants.
Now, Phyllis, the museum that acquired this for their collection, did they acquire the 3D, the stereo version?
No,
Just the
they
medium
took the
format.
medium format.
I
Yeah.
understand. I was
I,
going
I
to
don't
ask.
believe they didn't even see these. I didn't show these at PhotoFest. I only showed the medium format and the collage images that I did. And all of it was black and white that I showed.
I was
I don't
gonna-
know if my comment was made sense, but I'm seeing the stereo pair and your shirt on the same screen.
You're seeing my shirt?
No,
It is.
You're seeing my shirt?
In the Zoom meeting, your top is the same color as their
Oh,
pants.
You got
so
that.
it
Oh,
is.
I
He has
see.
picture set
Got
up there,
it.
so it's
It's like it was planned. Well, thank you, Phyllis.
Didn't even
And
think about it.
oh, say that again. I'm sorry.
I didn't even think about it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Phyllis, for sharing. And, there's just wonderful stories behind these as well as great stereo compositions.
Oh, there's so many stories.
Incredible. All right, Bob, let's enjoy One by You next. And coming up is Elaine's, let me look at the title here, Elaine's Perspective.
That is awesome.
It's a cousin. We were walking around Chicago just a couple of weeks ago and saw this alleyway, and I asked her to sit down. Took a quick cha-cha with the iPhone and had to do some hair cloning and touch up because the wind was blowing, as it tends to do in Chicago. But she was a very good model, and I just love the perspective here.
It's almost surreal.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Oh, it's a powerful image.
Oh my,
And that curved, I love the curved cement bench basically that she's sitting on. That was,
Beautiful architecture.
oh, that's, Chicago is just the most amazing city for architecture. Minus the Trump Tower, but.
I almost always make the verticals parallel,
Yeah, I thought about that.
but it's more dynamic this way.
Yeah, I like the pulling in the viewer there.
It looks like you have that wonderful light that you get in cityscapes like this, in these canyons between buildings where you've got the light reflecting off the windows and off the buildings, and it creates this very bright but indirect light that has lots of interesting texture. I think that really contributes to the magic of this photo.
Yeah, I just love the way all the angles kind of played in, the way that back barrier points to her, curves right into her body, and the coloring of her sweater or jacket worked out.
Perfect.
And in fact, the brown thing across the row, across the buildings, looks like stereo cardboard glasses, one half of them.
It does.
I'll have to try a mirror version of this to see if we can
Yeah.
make it a complete stereo viewer.
Even her backpack is the perfect color.
Yeah, I love the shape of it, kind of mirrored the windows, and
Just awesome.
I haven't even shown this to her yet, so I'll be seeing her soon.
Yeah,
Great
it's a
image.
real
Yeah,
success.
very nice.
Thank you for your curiosity.
Lovely. Thank you, Bob.
Sure.
Steve, you're up next. The title is Thailand Street.
Okay, this is similar to the last one, and that's from a boat. It's bus. Yeah, I've seen a lot of pictures of Thailand. It's usually temples or beaches or fields, and most of what I saw were just the city shops. And this is from a video. You know, I just took my phone and shot video. If it's a bright enough day, you know, the shutter is fast enough that there's a minimal amount of blur. The woman here didn't move so much that I didn't have to clone her. And that's about it.
You might consider changing the title to The Highlands of Thailand. But
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I mean, I looked at it and thought, oh, I could call it Highlands Coffee, but yours is better.
The contrast of the wires and the glass building behind it is quite interesting.
I'd be curious to try. There's a new feature in Photoshop that actually gets rid of wires. I'm wondering if this would probably blow its system out.
Overheat the computer, yeah.
Oh boy, I gotta get that feature.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
It's
I'm
in
ready for that.
it's in part of the remove tool, and it's pretty amazing from the demos I've seen. I haven't given it a try yet.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, Affinity has the what they call the in-painting tool, but you have to do it one wire at a time.
Yeah, no, they start the tutorial by showing someone doing that, and then a big red X goes across the screen, and then they show you their version of it.
Right. Don't do it this way.
Right.
It does.
The chaos of all the electrical wires reminds me of Dominican Republic, where you see guys with alligator clips literally tapping off lines into their private places.
Wow.
Well, that's pretty cool.
That's scary.
Here I don't see any alligator clips, although it's chaotic.
They must be big alligator clips.
Yeah,
The size of an alligator.
yeah, a real alligator.
Yeah, the wires actually are everywhere. So many of the pictures do have just this, maze of wires. It is very typical.
Steve, I'm impressed with the resolution, the sharpness and the clarity of the stereo photo, given that you extracted it from video frames. Did you do any sort of processing, run it through Topaz or anything like that?
No, I did not do that.
Wow.
The Samsung is pretty good, has pretty good resolution. I mean, the video is, I think the native video is 1080, which is your max anyway. So, I mean, it's a little low by a lot of photography standards, but, certainly is fine for this. But yeah, thanks. I feel like it came out pretty good.
Well, this is a
I like the way
technique. Oh, go ahead.
I like the way the woman seems to be part of a poster there, the way she's framed in that rectangle there.
It's true, yeah, she is kind of framed there.
It does separate her from that foliage in the back.
Yeah.
Well, this is a technique that I need to experiment with myself, shooting video and extracting frames.
Well, actually, I saw Tor do it, I think maybe about a year ago. and I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah.
So
Well,
thank you for.
I'll
Oh,
steal
sure.
it from the both of you.
I do it a lot with the X Pro, which has a better focal length when you're using the video, and it's been pretty good.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Steve.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, our next one is by Jay. Don't know if Jay will be joining us tonight. We're halfway through the meeting and halfway through the slideshow, so we're making good time. The title of this stereo photo is IKEA. I thought it was a nightclub or something, but I guess it's a furniture store.
Thought it was that mirror exhibit that we've seen.
For some of us, yeah.
We can see Jay there with his loom pad, so we know what camera he used to capture this.
Oh yeah.
Super interesting.
Seems to have plenty of depth and nice color, nice illumination.
I have a video with a similar feel. I will share with you the link of YouTube if you want to watch it later.
Yeah, please put that in the chat. All right, Jay, we'll see you. We'll see you later tonight or maybe next week. This next photo is by me. This will be the last photo that I took at this year's West Coast Dream Machine show that I'll be showing. I took a lot of photos. I always photograph this event. I love these antique machines. They didn't hold it in 2024, but it did return in 2025. I don't know if this is necessarily better as a stereo photo. What I like about it is it does sort of show the action, and it did capture the falling corn kernels. The title is Corn Sheller, which is the machine, the hand-cranked machine that I photographed here. And if your screen is large enough, you can see there's also some sort of dust flying around, coming out with those corn kernels. So yeah, I thought it was a fair action shot. I wish it wasn't so busy in the background.
Have you thought about cropping that car on the right out just a little bit off the right?
I probably could. Yeah, I could probably crop a little bit from the left and the right. Make it
I don't know.
more
I
of
like
a-
seeing the machinery in the back, but I don't know if you need that second car there.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a pretty corny shot anyway.
Ouch.
It's a good thing you're out of the country, Peter.
My jokes are coming to Minneapolis. Look at it.
We're going to put a tariff on them. You know that.
Should have said, "Oh shucks."
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
that would probably be a better title for this photo. Corn Sheller tells us what it is, but it doesn't tell us how to feel about it.
Budweiser bucket.
Say that again, Phyllis?
There's a Budweiser bucket in it.
There
Yes.
is, yes. And I kept that in. I guess that's for when the other bucket fills up.
Yeah, well, the sadder Budweiser could be another time.
Does beer come in buckets in that place there? Why would it have a bucket with a beer name on it?
Yeah, I don't know what the
What
Ice
vintage
would
of
bucket
that
for
bucket is.
bottles.
Yeah, it could be. They'll put their logo on anything.
Yeah.
It was the old time to
I
put
didn't
it
see
like that.
anyone drinking out of that bucket, so I don't think it had beer in it. Maybe
Well, it's good
some
that
corn
you-
whiskey.
It's good that you shot this without that he wasn't using the Budweiser bucket because the black bucket really shows off the floating kernels. That's fortunate for
That's
this. That's the most interesting part of this picture.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. That's really the reason that I'm showing it is just I was so happy with capturing those corn kernels suspended in motion.
Yeah, the black bucket really makes it work.
Yeah, you're right. They'd be invisible. They'd be obscured if that bucket was the light Budweiser bucket.
What's the distance between your cameras, Matt,
So
here?
this is my Sony RXOs, and they were, 70 millimeters, I would say. They were fairly close.
Okay,
And
okay.
I was
Thank
fairly
you.
close to this also. All right, thank you. Oleg, you're up next. The title is Lazy Fisherman Awaits a Bite. Lazy Fisherman Awaits a Bite.
Looks like he's waiting for high tide. He's pretty far away.
I'm wondering if it's being displayed too bright again.
It's a matter of taste. I mean, I would like to see more dynamic range myself. It's whatever you like.
I might bump up the contrast just a bit, 3 or 5%, something like that. It's nice you gave us that chain link fence to look through. And the bag
Yeah, I like
hanging
the
from
fact that whatever black thing back there sort of matches the black things on that's not behind the fence.
I like how the color of the sky makes the fence makes a nice silhouette against that section of sky. It's almost like the fence and the sky are working together, planned this because it fits right in there.
Yes.
That's nice looking picture.
A good
The
point.
grass looks so soft. I don't mean that out of focus. I mean I want to go and lie in it.
It was very hard to walk through.
Oleg, will this grass be green next month, or will it have gone golden?
Oh, it's golden.
It's golden, yeah. So this also captures a moment in time. Yeah, I'm sure this photo is much more effective with this lush foliage than it would be now with the dried out landscape.
Yeah, there wouldn't be any color contrast.
Right.
California spring, it's too short.
Indeed, the wildflowers are dying back. The hills are turning brown. Spring is over. We still have 18 days until summer. Something like that.
19 of Julio. Yes.
Well, thank you, Oleg. Very beautiful. Melinda has, I think, our first of 2 protest stereo photos for tonight's slideshow. This one is titled Protest Bubbles. And take it away, Melinda.
Yeah, I don't think I have another protest. I think that's somebody else.
Somebody else's, yeah.
This is definitely the season for it, though. And before I forget, if anybody is interested in taking some record shots of the current protests, the June 14th is the big nationwide protest. So all major cities will have big protest. That's a good day to get out and see what you can do. This was one of the weekly protests in my neighborhood at the Tesla dealership. From this point of view, it's just across the road, and it's the Tesla takedown. Now that Musk is officially out of the government, I don't know if they're going to move this or change this, but people seem to be pretty happy to keep coming out to this. It's actually a nice event, nice bunch of people. I particularly liked the person with the bubbles. It's such an odd contrast between the anger behind the event and the beautiful bubbles. So just like,
Nice framing.
oh, thanks. Yeah, little by little, I kept zooming in until I found. I was trying to keep her sign in the picture for a long time, but it wasn't that interesting of a sign, and signs alone are not that terribly interesting anyway. Some of them are pretty funny, but if
The federal workers.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Go
what
ahead,
about-
Melinda.
Much better in 3D than 2D.
Mm.
Bubbles are awesome.
bubbles are always great in 3D. Yeah, it's a wonderful subject.
I love the
It's
range of
such an
colors.
effect-
Love the range of colors you captured in the bubbles. Were the bubbles in shadow?
The ones on the left half,
No.
like the one directly over the man's head,
Mm.
it looks like that's in light, and then everything to the left of it is in the shadow.
Yeah.
It's such an effective technique. You might consider just bringing a bubble machine all over the place.
Everywhere.
It's
picture
gone
every-
through my head.
Yeah,
Um,
very
Yeah.
clever.
I also actually have one of those giant bubble making things, but I can't do that while taking photos. But these little bubble machines certainly.
Bubbles are always effective in 3D. One of my favorite subjects.
Yep.
I'm always
Yeah,
drawn to
it's
them
always
when
fun.
I see them at a festival or a protest or whatever. I can't help but try to
Especially
photograph them.
backlit with sunshine, really good
Yeah.
effective.
And your timing is so lucky that you don't have any bubbles obscuring the face. They sort of frame the face of that protester in the middle of your composition, but we can read the expression clearly.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, there's one small one over his cheek.
Just a
But,
little one.
but yeah, you're right. That was just a happy accident. He doesn't look very happy though.
No. Would you consider cropping it on the right, maybe losing the protester on the right-hand side, holding up the sign whose back is turned towards us?
Yeah, maybe just crop into just the one man or something, or
Yeah.
just chop off that, like the one third of the right
I would
side.
keep the person who's in the background in front of the car, but maybe lose that the protester whose back we see.
Uh-huh.
Might be worth trying.
I also
I
I
like that.
kind of like how it balances the rest of the picture. I'd leave it the way it is.
Leave it the
I
way
would
it
too.
is.
If anything, I just take a little bit off the right. But the bubbles are really great right there where he is.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. It's a nice balance, and there's the most amount of bubbles in front of the guy we see his back. If anything, I would take a tiny bit off the left and a tiny bit off the right, but not take any of the people.
Yeah, okay. There's a lot of ways to do it. Like I say, I did crop in little by little until I was happy, but there are probably a lot of other good compositions here too.
Yeah, I think it's really effective as it is.
Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you, Melinda. Phyllis, you're coming up next. The title is Stair Climb.
This is in the same little village, and they had no cars. There were no roads to put a car on, so everything was done by mule. And I was just amazed that they were going up and down the stairs. I hadn't seen that before.
I didn't even see the mule until you mentioned it.
I probably could have lightened the whites a little bit on this, but
Yeah, we've got those nice wires too. They add to the sense of depth, looking through to that distant mountain in the background.
yeah, there were lots of wires hanging everywhere. Very dangerously, it seemed. Very worn stairs. I heard later on that people went in and purchased the stone stairs before the river flooded everything, and were selling them. Architects were buying them and using them in buildings.
Huh.
They were very worn. You could see where people had been going up them for hundreds of years.
Did you visit this as a part of a tour? Were you with a group to document this,
I went
location?
with a very small group, two other 3D photographers, both of who have passed away by now, and one other person who was a friend of one of them. And we had a Chinese guide who actually lived less than 10 miles away from me, and we'd never met before. And he was a very good photographer, and he led photo trips. And so it was really kind of a private photo trip designed for what we wanted to do. We wanted to make this documentary.
Wow, what an incredible opportunity.
It was. We went back 3 years later when the dam was completed, and tried to find some of the same people that we'd found the first time. And I was very pleased to find out that I was very worried about the farmers because all the farmland had already been farmed by other people. But it turned out that the young people got jobs in hotels and restaurants, and they were doing service jobs, and the farmers were beautifying the cities with the gardens, beautiful gardens, because this was just before the World Expo was there, and they all had paychecks for the first time in their lives on a regular basis. So what I thought was going to be a disaster turned out to be very good for a majority of the people.
Wow. Yeah, these are important stereo photos for that historical record as well. A place and a way of life that's vanished.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for sharing
It
these.
totally changed in just the few years between the two times I went. The water the first year was ugly and gray in the Yangtze, and the native porpoise were dying. There were literally dead bodies, human and animal, floating in the river beside us.
God.
And there was somebody whose job at the dam was to collect these bodies before they got to the dam. When I went back a couple of years later, the water was pristine, clear, no garbage. They had they hired people in sampans to go and pick up any garbage before the rivers. I have photos of the river just coated with plastic bottles and crap all over the place. So they made a huge difference in a very short time. It was amazing.
Wow. Will you be sharing more photos of this of this trip with us?
If you'd like that, I can certainly do
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah. And of course, we're not done with you yet. We still have one more coming up from your
Okay.
set tonight. Thank you, Phyllis. These are
Thank you.
wonderful. Steve, you're up next. We have L.A. Birds Fly.
Yeah, I think I showed some other birds from the same location, this little park in Los Angeles, and I really liked, the position of these two birds. I was moving, and it was a little bit blurry. I think it's probably blurry to people, but I liked the depth, and I liked where the birds were in space. And I ran it through Topaz. It did the best it could. It didn't really change it that much, but I still like it.
Yeah, sometimes if you hit that shutter button too fast, too severely, you'll get a blurred shot.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if it was me moving more or the birds. Of course, the birds are moving pretty much because they are in flight. But I think the whole thing is a little soft. But this is with the W3. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have shown us these birds before, right?
Yeah,
I feel like I've seen them.
and I think maybe I had a picture of some ducks in the lake. So maybe going back to this location, this will be the third time.
This is in LA. Is this an area you regularly visit?
I'd never been here before.
Oh.
This is my daughter took me there, and it's a little out of the way. I wish I could remember where exactly it was because we visited a bunch of different places.
Echo Park.
I think it was farther west than Echo Park.
Well, you
It
got a
might have been,
mileage.
in the valley. I don't know. I don't remember now. But if people are interested, I will ask my daughter and find out where this was.
Sure. Yeah. Well, you definitely got a lot of mileage out of this location. Showed us quite a few photos that you captured there. Well, thank you, Steve.
Right.
Bob, this is the second Alcatraz stereo photo we've been waiting for.
Mhm.
Alcatraz for Model Prisoners is the title.
Mhm. I think I'm going to wait for some comments before I say anything about this one.
Well, this is a miniature.
Yeah, okay. thought I'd
Can't fool
somebody.
Tor.
Yeah, well, I've thought about putting in some tiny people there to fool it, but yeah, this was the Bay model, and the trees aren't miniature; those are, and that building on the right. But yeah, I have a series of photos of this model there.
Nice.
Great clouds.
Yeah, I was going to say that I really like that. Gave it nice atmosphere, kind of gray prison-like atmosphere.
Yeah, the sky and the natural light do help kind of lock in the idea that this is a full-scale structure and not a miniature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fooled me. I didn't know they had an outdoor exhibit at the Bay Model.
Yeah, this isn't. This was down at God, I forget what pier it is. It's not part of the Bay Model in Sausalito. This is in San Francisco.
Ah, I have not seen that.
Yeah, it's got a whole series of different scenes, but this one was since I knew I had the other Alcatraz shot.
Is that the actual prison?
What, this?
I mean, yeah, is that what it, I
Yeah,
didn't realize they'd have
that's-
windows like that.
Yeah, I would have to look at the original buildings, but I would imagine they tried to reproduce it as accurately as possible. I mean, it is rather simplistic in terms of the constructions, but
Sure looks like somebody could get out of those windows.
Yeah.
They're big.
well, they obviously did. There's no one left there. They're all gone. So
I
Yeah.
guess that's true.
I've taken the Alcatraz tour many times. I don't think there are actual windows in the cells. This might be an area for workshops or for staff or something like that.
yeah, true.
That makes sense.
They say it takes 30 minutes to get over and 30 years to get back.
Yeah, those cells do not look comfortable.
It's so realistic. I mean, even the water looks.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Any idea what your stereo base on this one is, Bob?
I don't. This is a series. I took several cha-chas here, but yeah, I could probably enter this in the hypo.
In our hypo, sure.
Yeah.
Did you add the clouds to it?
No, this is straight.
Wow.
I don't think I did any touch up on this at all.
Amazing.
Poor Bob, we know your skills so much that we expect everything that looks good had to be thrown in.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
That's your curse of being good at this.
Now you've got me wondering about those windows. I'll have to research that.
And when you're in town, do visit Alcatraz. It's lovely views of the city, and you can take a little hike around the island. You don't have to spend the whole day in the prison. Thank you, Bob.
I was there in a cruise ship just a month ago, actually.
Yeah, I think you mentioned
And,
that. Didn't you,
Yeah, I took one of those Movo things or whatever the driverless cars are
the
called.
Waymo.
What are they called?
Waymo.
Waymo.
Right.
Yeah, that was fun.
Not on
They drive
Alcatraz
better than I
Island,
do.
of course.
No.
But probably downtown. All right, thank you, Bob.
Sure.
This is Jay's last photo of the evening, taiko drums. And I think we heard the comment on one of his earlier photos from this event, how much the participants seem to be enjoying themselves. And I think Jay really gets that across here.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of
It's
energy,
infectious.
a lot of action in this one. What do you guys think of the spectators on the right side of the image near the background there? Would you keep them or would you crop them?
I'm just thinking about that. I'd probably crop them just to see how it looked. It might make it a little more dynamic just to focus more on the performers. But it's nice to show as a record what's going on there. Plus, I know Oleg would like the colors of their clothing.
Yeah, it is very colorful.
I'd like to hear the music that goes along with that.
Hey, it's possible Jay shot some 3D video of this. I'm pretty sure the loom pad shoots 3D video. I only look at my loom pad. I've never used the camera myself. And Jay has proven that you can take, fantastic stereo photos with it. I just don't carry it around with me. I guess I should get in the habit.
Well, actually, I agree, because the problem is, like, holding a camera seems so much more natural for taking photos or videos than holding a tablet. It just doesn't seem,
Yeah.
it doesn't have the form factor of a camera.
I think it's harder to hold still too. Certainly in the wind it is.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point. And the LoomPad itself is a very heavy tablet. It's got a lot of glass in it.
Need to get a harness and a rig that you just wear your body, specifically designed.
All right. Well, thank you, Jay. I'm sure you're watching this either
Well,
now or after the fact.
My shoes.
All right. This next photo is by me. The title is, what did I call this? Appraising a Necklace. I'm very happy with this one. I took this on Saturday at the Union Street Festival in San Francisco. And this was really kind of a walk by. I was just walking by this booth and happened to notice this scene happening. I was attracted to the mirror, and I just lifted up my cameras and shot it while I was moving and looked at it later that day. I like shooting into mirrors. I like being able to look at the reflection and capture the depth in that mirror. The light was really harsh. This was about noon, but I think this sort of shaded canopy really helps with that. And yeah, I was just really happy to capture this moment.
Did you?
Possibly, maybe have some.
Did you put them in here?
I might have had some minor grease.
Oleg, were you saying something?
No, I wasn't. Sorry, I should have muted. Okay, I'm gonna borrow these.
Have you thought about doing any cloning on that right mirror?
You know,
There
I
are
was going to
strong
crop it out
analogies.
completely. And
Oh
then
no,
I
I
noticed,
love the
Oh.
mirror. I was just thinking of the anomalies in there. At
that's
least that bright white dot on the right chip might help.
that's a good idea. It would be easy enough to do. It would eliminate that rivalry. I was so focused on that middle mirror, I didn't pay much attention to that mirror on the right, and I was going to like crop it out, but then I saw there was another face reflected in it, and I thought it might be worth keeping. But yeah, thank you, Bob. I will clone that out, clean that up a little bit.
This is one that I would definitely crop into, just to I keep just the heads of the two women on the right and crop down to their waist or so, and then you have a nice composition that's all between the three faces, the three people and the reflection that was catching your eye in the first place.
So eliminate the woman on the far left.
Yep. Yeah, I would take her out. I would crop the other women to their waist and relatively tight toward their heads.
Yeah, I'll try that.
You got good options on cropping because you can go just the girl in the mirror, or as Melinda said, do the girl on the left completely out of it. And as Bob said, the mirror business. You got tons of good stuff you can do to it.
Yeah, thanks.
Great
That's great
timing on
advice.
that shot too. Because if she was looking up, it wouldn't be as effective.
Yeah, I like being able to kind of read her expression as she's evaluating the jewelry.
Excellent.
I will experiment with these suggestions. Thank you. This is pretty much the full frame, so I've got plenty of resolution to play with also. I should be able to crop in quite a bit without losing any sharpness or anything. Yeah, thank you. Great advice. Oleg, you're coming up next. This is your last photo of tonight's slideshow. Two painters at Stafford Lake. Oleg, are you muted? I think you're still muted. I just asked you to unmute.
Yeah, I was waiting for the moment that they both were painting and took the picture.
It's nice to see the actual painting of the scene.
I'll be in as soon as I can.
The woman on
Yeah,
the left.
same color.
You're showing stuff at the meeting, so I don't want me to.
I
Again,
like the sort of,
I wonder whether it's too bright. It looks too bright here.
this is not as bright as the others. You could you could increase the contrast, but this one I think is fine. I like the sort of natural ceiling that you have from these branches that are hanging in. It's a very nice composition.
I like the colors too. It's very painterly.
Mm-hmm.
And we can imagine what they're painting.
Mm-hmm.
In 2D, of course, those branches just merge into kind of a mess. In stereo, we get them well defined, and it's nice that there are no leaves on them. Being able to sort of look through, see that background, and see each individual branch. Well, thank you, Oleg.
Thank you.
Phyllis, this is your fourth stereo photo of the evening. This is Stairway to Yangtze.
There were, because of the river changing elevation so much, there were a lot of stairs. This was going up to a kind of a pagoda where they would worship. And I just liked the combination of all the angles and the roof with the river in the background. You can't really see too much of that, but there's a boat. There's some boats in there.
Then all the dappled light just filtering through. That's gorgeous.
Just about everything I did in color, I did in black and white also. So it's kind of interesting to see the two together. But
Was it
I
just
kind
a
of like the
matter of
color.
luck to get no people on the stairs at the time you took the picture?
No, well, I kind of worked at it. I kind of did some waiting until people were out of the way, but this particular spot wasn't as busy as some of them. Some of them, it would have been absolutely impossible. There were people everywhere, but this place seemed to be a little quieter than most, and there weren't a lot of, I didn't have to do a lot of waiting. There were a couple people that came up and one that kept standing in the corner that I didn't really want them to be in. And finally they left, but
Well, when I
wasn't
was
too
in
bad.
Yellowstone Park, somebody showed me a trick about how to clear off platforms of people and so on. You put your camera on a tripod and just every few seconds take another still picture over and over again, and eventually all the people will move and you can clone them all out in layers so that they're all gone.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Oh, it works pretty well because you're on a tripod, so you don't have to play, and you just layer them all. So they're all still, as long as the light doesn't change.
And Photoshop will do that process for you automatically. In other words, exactly that. You take a lot of photos and then you just basically give them all to Photoshop, and Photoshop can see the difference between the photos and automatically remove the people.
Wow.
And just search online. It's I don't remember exactly what the menu option is, but it's well documented. It's been in Photoshop for years.
Oh, thank you, Herb. I could skip that tripod idea now.
They're taking all the fun of
You
it.
you
still
still
need-
you still need the tripod. You want it to be still, but basically you give it a bunch of photos taken on a tripod, and Photoshop just does what you would have done manually.
Oh, I see. Okay. Speeds it up.
Yes, automates it.
I mean, a tripod is always going to be helpful, but if you remember, for those of you that saw my Affinity demo, I started with 2 pictures, and they were taken from a car, so they weren't at the same in the same spot. And Affinity actually studied it, aligned it up, and Photoshop does that probably even better. And so you can take them handheld as long as it's not blurry or anything. And it's from pretty close to the same angle. Obviously, if you have on a tripod, you make less work for your processor, and it's going to be a cleaner job. But if you don't have a tripod, it'll still work.
Good to know. And of course, Phyllis was shooting film here, so she wasn't taking dozens of photos of the same scene, I'm sure.
Yes, she didn't have all the digital tools we have now.
She actually
I
had to wait.
ship film ahead of time, and the first batch was confiscated by the government because the person I shipped it to, they thought that they were going to sell it. So I had to, 2 days before the trip, rebuy all of my film. $100 worth of film.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
and then I had to worry about it getting through the x-ray.
Oh boy.
Yeah, those are just, you know, one of those complications that make these photos that much more impressive. Can't wait to see more. Thank you, Phyllis.
Documentaries about how early films are made, especially early documentaries like Robert Flaherty's. It's incredible, you know, hauling big reels of unprocessed film on pack mules. And it's just amazing what people went through.
Yeah.
Including, I think there was a show at the Oakland Museum of Muybridge photos he took of Yosemite, where he would hoist himself up on a mule. I mean, he would tie himself up with a rope and the other end to a mule, put it over a tree limb, and get the mule to pull him up so he could get a high angle.
Well, our own Andrew J. Russell, of course, had to travel with 30 pounds of camera equipment, plus chemicals, plus fresh water, plus a developing tent, plus an assistant. Speaking of which, before we move on, I did have a meeting with the Oakland Museum of California on Friday. They are very interested in us giving our A.J. Russell show at the Oakland Museum of California. Details will be forthcoming, but it's a very exciting opportunity.
Congratulations.
Yeah, well, congratulations to the group. But that said, let's move forward.
No, before you go.
Yes.
The tree on the left side has 3 bright lights that keep the composition is fantastic, but my eye keeps seeing that on the left chip, the tree has some on the right side of the tree trunk there. There's little bright lights that are not present on the right side.
Just a little gap between those two trees.
Yeah.
Sunlight.
Yeah.
With my viewer, it looks fine. It doesn't, it's not a rivalry for me.
Oh,
Is it on the TV or?
I'm
Well,
looking at a
looks
TV.
good for me too. As you say, no retinal rivalry. Everything's in the right depth and all that.
Yeah, it's working for me.
I mean, I agree with Oleg on this one at least. I mean, there's probably a number of things like that, but I would probably just paint that out. But it's pretty minor.
Or you could just darken it a little bit.
One other thing I was thinking that the image might benefit from a border. It's a very different effect, but
What kind of border?
just 4 or 5 pixels of a white border.
And you'd use white?
I think I would use white on this. I use white probably half the time.
Similar to what Oleg was using on his images.
Oh, okay. Hadn't thought of that. Of course, I was using these in the slideshow, so not as an individual image.
I kind of feel like since she shot film, the closer she gets to the actual filming of it, the better. Especially if it's not, I mean, like a couple of people were getting rivalry, and I understand trying to avoid that. But the rivalry that you're seeing, I think, is natural. And the lack of a border is also natural, the way, the stereo photography was shot pre-digital. And I guess to be a purist about it, I would prefer to see it just like that. How it came out of the camera was pre-digital.
It certainly does emphasize the skill that was required to capture this photo as it is now on film. Well, thank you, everyone. Let's move on. Melinda, this is your last photo of the evening. The title is Green Ball.
Yeah, that's a tough act to follow. It was a beautiful image. This was just a playground outside where I play table tennis sometimes, and just saw this nice sight line through this climbing structure, and it seemed to need something extra. And then I saw this lost ball that was down on the nearby tennis court, so I brought it over and used it for a prop. And then I was very happy at the end. I was able to find the owners. There was some kids soccer training going on, and they were using all the same ball, so I was able to return it.
So if you added the bumblebee in your perfect shot you had a few weeks ago and added your bubble machine right over that all too, you could trip up.
The bumblebee instead of the ball would probably have a more frightening effect, I imagine.
Yeah, it would.
But that could be fun.
I think a bubble machine can enhance pretty much any stereo photo if you want to carry one around
That's
with
probably
you.
true.
I mean,
Well said. I need them on my pictures.
Maybe I will buy one of those. I mean, it's just a little handheld thing. It looks simple enough.
Yeah.
I think bubbles would be
may try that.
overkill. I think bubbles would be overkill in this composition. I like the cleanness of this.
Yeah, I do too. Well seen.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you, Melinda.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to move forward. We've got just a few left, 3 photos left, but I want to give us time for everyone who's willing and able to participate in our poll. And I do have some questions for Roberto also, if he's still with us. So let's move on to one by Steve. This is our second protest photo of the evening. And Let Freedom Ring is the title.
Yeah, obviously it's the most dominant poster. Yeah, this is I think kind of interesting. So W3, and it's two pictures, because if you get back far enough, the farther back you get from something, the flatter it gets. So I didn't, plus there were people behind me. So I actually took the bottom part and then I shifted and took the top part and merged them together in affinity. And I don't know that I've ever done that before, but I think it's successful, because you have a fair amount of depth in the bottom part and you get, a taller picture. This, of course, is a city hall, and
So
it's a sign
the
you should always make your signs with information on both sides. Most people do. They usually have a different message on one side as the other. They flip them around.
so you're saying the city hall is a separate hyperstereo photo that you've merged into the photo of the crowd scene, also in
It's not
front of City Hall?
hyperstereo. It's a straight W3.
Oh,
I couldn't get wide enough to get the top of the dome, so I shot it. I just tilted the camera up and shot that, and then I put them together.
I see. Interesting. Yeah, very effective. Looks very natural to me.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah, good alignment. I wouldn't have seen that if you hadn't pointed it out. Would be nice to see the dome in 3D. That is a good idea, though.
Oleg
dome
demonstrated that.
technically is in 3D, but yeah, if I had done a cha-cha, that would be interesting, because I guess it could still work theoretically.
Well,
We
Oleg
probably
demonstrated
do, though.
that. I think last month, last Open Division meeting, he had kind of a before or after, and he had enhanced the far background, and it looked very natural. Definitely worked. But that said, I think, I see some depth in that dome. I don't think the 3D is lacking in this photo. I think it's
I
very
don't think
successful.
there's any depth in there.
It looks natural, I would
Because I
argue.
can, using the alignment tool, I can put the two images exactly on top of each other. I don't see any depth at all back there.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's depth, but I think it's because of the shading. The sunlight gives it the roundness, which our brain interprets as depth.
Right.
That's probably what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I think that's what. Yeah, it's really too far away to have any real stereoscopic depth. The depth is all in the people and the signs.
Just to note, I pasted into the chat an article that describes that feature of removing people from photos.
Yes, thank you, Herb.
Thank you.
That's great. Thanks.
Like security people trying to stop you photographing would be a nice group to get rid of.
Well, in San Francisco, they're going to let you have your protest. And people were very well behaved. Although I never went to the Tesla factory, I think there was some vandalism, but not much.
Most of the vandalism I see there now is sidewalk chalk. So they're being very respectful with their vandalism.
Most people I've talked to don't have anything against Tesla dealers or Tesla owners, just Elon Musk, and only because of his association with Trump. So it's really Trump and Republicans we have our argument with.
Well, thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
We have one more from Bob. Mind the Sliding Doors is the title.
This again is Chicago, the subway you don't see. Only runs after midnight.
When you come to a fork in the road, take it.
That's right. And the title was a reference to the Gwyneth Paltrow sliding door film.
Oh yeah.
Could also be Mind the Gap.
Yeah, that is a bizarre effect.
I always like finding faces and things, and I thought the little smiley face in the front of the car produced by the mirror was nice.
It's like an owl or a robot.
Yeah, I went in and brightened the seats inside to give it a little eye effect, a little more.
Oh wow, that's a nice touch.
Give it a pupil.
Yeah, I think I need to work on it a little more. I did a lot of cutting and pasting to get rid of the anomalies in the very center of the shot. So I ended up cutting and pasting and then using the warp tool on this front area to give it some depth.
Yeah, that's always a challenge with these mirror shots. Those artifacts that you can get.
Yeah, good job.
Thanks.
Yes, thank you, Bob. All right, we have one more photo for tonight's slideshow, and it's by me. Our Evolution at Sunset. Our Evolution is this sculpture that's been erected at Embarcadero Plaza in San Francisco. I think it's a temporary installation. The sculpture itself was originally created for Burning Man. I think it's 45 feet tall. Definitely worth seeing in person. Photos don't really do it justice. I took quite a few photos of it, and I'm actually going to go back and take more. I was happy with this one, capturing it at sunset with the sun not illuminating the statue, but illuminating the ferry building behind it. And I think the 3D gives it, enough separation between the statue and the ferry building that they don't merge together. This is hyper. Took it with my Sonys. The cameras were probably 6 inches apart, something like that.
Yeah, that's a clever composition though. I like that a lot.
I encourage everyone who can to check it out. There are a lot of great angles and great photo opportunities for stereo with this installation, and I'll be showing more.
Also, I heard that for 1 hour every day, the figure breathes.
That's my understanding, and you can see there is a mechanism inside it. I understand at night there's also lights inside, but I wasn't able to stick around long enough to see that. I had to catch my ferry.
Maybe a little bit more separated the cameras so we can see more stereoscopic effect.
Yeah, that's done easily enough. I will be returning, and I'll give that a try. All right, thank you.
Matt, have you considered I've seen this, but I've never seen it at night. What does it look like at night? Because they light up the ferry building. Do they light up the statue?
I understand that there's lights inside the statue, but I haven't seen it myself. I'm not sure if they illuminate it. I haven't seen any lights installed around it. There aren't any spotlights or anything. I think it does have some self-illumination, but I think they only switch it on when it's completely dark outside.
Yeah,
I'll have
this
to
is
go and
really
check it out.
effective the way framed the tower in her body. It's I took a bunch of cha-chas of this, but this is really nice.
Well, thank you. You'll be seeing more.
I look forward to it.
All right. It's almost 9 o'clock. Let's do our poll. For those who can, I encourage you to participate. You can do it on your computer, on your phone or tablet, either by going to the link strawpoll.com/ggss, or you can use that QR code. Please select your top 3 personal favorites from tonight's slideshow. I'll give us maybe 90 seconds, 2 minutes. First, though, I will go through the slideshow very quickly. I'll name the makers of the titles, but you can make your selections now, during, or after my recap. So let me go ahead and do that. These first 2 photos are from Roberto's workshop, so we won't vote on those. We will start with, let me just get these titles in front of me here. You Had Better Pair Stop by Oleg. Man versus Nature by Melinda. Da Chang Man with Pipe by Phyllis. Alcatraz Hyper 2 by Bob. Hungarian Parliament Building by Steve. Nikkei by Jay. John Deere by Matt. Rusty Roofed Barn and View of Highway 37 by Oleg. Beach Golf by Melinda. Lunchtime by Phyllis. Elaine's Perspective by Bob. Thailand Street by Steve. IKEA by Jay. Corn Sheller by Matt. Lazy Fisherman Awaits a Bite by Oleg. Protest Bubbles by Melinda. Stair Climb by Phyllis. L.A. Birds Fly by Steve. Alcatraz for Model Prisoners by Bob. Taiko Drums by Jay. Appraising a Necklace by Matt. Two Painters at Stafford Lake by Oleg. Stairway to Yangtze by Phyllis. Green Ball by Melinda. Let Freedom Ring by Steve. Mind the Sliding Doors by Bob. And Our Evolution at Sunset by Bat. All right, let's take a minute or two, a minute and a half to make our selections. I encourage you to participate if you can. While we're doing that, I will announce that our next meeting is next week, and that is Tuesday, June 10th. It's our special subject next week, and that is hypostereo. Please share your photos made with a narrow stereo base, less than the average interocular distance. These may be macros. These may be red hydrogen one-shots. Anything that's, we'll say, less than 65 millimeters or so, give or take. All right, let me just quickly make my selections here.
And Matt, while you're doing
Yes.
that, I will take this opportunity to congratulate and thank you for keeping the meeting moving along so effectively. Couldn't have done it better myself.
I'm getting better. I'm still working at it. I mean, it is already over. We're already over time, but
yeah,
maybe
but
not
only a
quite
couple
as
minutes,
bad
and
as we have been.
we had a demo as part of it.
That's right. All right, I'll just give us another 30 seconds or so. Okay, does anyone need more time? I am going to share the results. Now, our YouTube and Twitch streamers will not see the results. You'll just have to take our word for it. And I encourage you to visit us on Zoom. And here are our results. Let me share my screen. All right, Phyllis, your Da Chang Man with pipe was our clear favorite tonight. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. Bob, your Elaine's Perspective, we'll call that our second place with 4 votes. Melinda and Phyllis, we'll call that a tie for third. Melinda's Protest Bubbles and Phyllis's Stairway to Yangtze. And we'll give our 4th place a tie between Phyllis's Lunchtime and Bob's Mind the Sliding Doors. Well done. Fantastic slideshow tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, some great stuff this month.
Yeah, fantastic contributions. That concludes the official part of the meeting, but I'd like to stay on a few more minutes. I have some questions for Roberto, and if anyone has anything they would like to share or discuss, now's a good time also. Roberto, I want to ask you about your cameras, the rig that you showed us. Did you say that they don't have a built-in screen?
No. You need to have a phone, like they have a holder, and you set up like there's like for an automobile, for a car, you will attach a phone, and via Wi-Fi you control the camera with the smartphone, or in this case with an Apple Touch that I use.
And do you have monitors on both cameras or just one camera?
I use with both because I use it on program mode, because sometimes I want to move the ISO or the speed shutter. So I can use viewfinder, a live viewfinder that comes with the sport cameras, like the GoPro version of Sony. Yeah, I can control both of them and trigger both of them with that, but I cannot control the options like the program, like the shutter. I cannot do that with the small viewfinder, so I rather use the iPod Touch to control the whole setup.
I see. And how's the synchronization between the cameras? The way you have them set up this way, you're using that device there. You said that there's
Yes,
sometimes a misfire or a missync.
I don't know. I am using the intervalometer trigger. So it's a remote, and the remote is like, this is a Chinese one, so it's not. And I trigger it with a cable. The output of the receiver gets a mini plug cable, so I split it with a headphone J cable, so it sends to the two cameras. I can use another. I have another of these, but I don't want to bother with two receivers because I have to bother with two batteries and everything. I believe I have not tested the synchronization with two triggers, like using the other receiver to see if that fixes the synchronization, but I believe not, because I am sending via cable the same signal. So I don't know yet if it's a firmware stuff, like maybe one camera have a different firmware and is getting slower with the focus or something. But in the moving part of the shooting, sometimes I get a little bit, so it gets some I don't know, elements that doesn't fit. So right now I will stay with the RXOs for motion, and this, like, I want to use this with a light painting, and I want to do 3D light painting, stereoscopic light painting demos, like how it goes, and try to, because I have up to 30 seconds to trigger the camera. So that's why I bought it, because also I can use like really luminous lenses, like this is one, a 1.4 lens, and I have to find another one. But I have the flexibility for that. I rent the other lens. It's cheaper. I don't have to bother with, but the camera, it's really hard to find. Even in the States, I believe it's up to, only the camera, it's only $500, I believe. And with I found it with a box and all the accessories. It goes all the way up to $1,000 in the States on eBay. So I found it really cheap here in Mexico. The guy that sold it to me didn't know what he was selling.
Nice. I'm looking at the camera on Sony's website, and I see they have a built-in flash as well.
Yes.
That's something I really mix from the RXOs that I use and that you use. Have you experimented with that with these cameras yet?
Not yet. Actually, I believe it won't work as good as I think, because the synchronization is a real problem. And triggering, I don't know if I trigger with only one camera or I have to trigger both flashes. I have to experiment with that. I haven't done it that.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, thank you for answering my questions, and thank you for sticking around. This is a very interesting looking rig. I had never heard of these cameras, and
sure.
They seem to be the perfect type, especially with the interchangeable lenses. But sounds like the synchronization is better on the RXOs.
Yes, right now with the RXOs, it's easier. I don't have any problems with the RXOs, and here with the QX1s, I found that I have to I have to edit the stuff, but right now, the dynamic range is it's wild with the QX1. So even with the RXOs, it's a really good dynamic range with a bigger sensor. It's easier to work with them.
Sure, yeah. And have fun with those long exposures. I really miss that on the RXO2s myself.
Yes.
I have two Canon DSLRs that I use for those types of effects, but they're so bulky, and of course, you can't get the lenses very close together. Does anyone have any questions for Roberto regarding his rig or anything else? Does anyone have any questions for any of us?
Actually, I left the video that I took with my smaller DJI action cams on the chat. If you want to see it, it's an installation here in Mexico with mirrors, and they have this multi-layer LED high-pitch LEDs that it creates 3D elements. Watch it if you have chances and enjoy it.
I have this video up right now. I can't share it on Zoom. The frame rate will be too poor.
Yes.
So this is a video that you shot with these. You have two of these small cameras. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, I have. Okay. This is the DJI Action 2, and I 3D printed a holder, and I mount this on a stabilizer. So I walk with that, and this is for video. And I believe that in low light, the cameras behave really well. It holds the low light situation.
I encourage everyone. I just put the link in the chat again. Roberto had put it in about an hour ago. It's a half-width side-by-side YouTube 3D video. I encourage everyone to check it out. I'm previewing it right now as we talk, and it's got a great 3D. It looks like you shot it in very challenging light. We've got lights going on and off, and lots of screen effects. Very impressive.
Yes, I thought it was going to blow out, on maybe the white balance it was going to go wild or something like that. But no, the cameras hold it really well, and I didn't have to fix a lot on post-production.
Yeah, it seems like it knew what to expose. The lighting effects are properly exposed, and the people are dark because it's a dark space, but that's exactly what I would expect.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yes, it was a really challenging environment, but I believe it worked well. Let me know if any critics and anything that can improve my shooting, it will help.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, I encourage everyone to check this out if you haven't. Say that again, Phyllis.
Sorry?
Where do you live in Mexico?
In Mexico City, close to downtown. By bicycle, 15, 20 minutes to downtown.
All right. I have a nephew living there.
Where? In Mexico City?
Yeah, he's a teacher.
Ah, wow, yeah. Well, if he lives close to here, to me, I maybe visit him.
It's only a few million people there.
Yep, a lot of people here.
Well, get him a stereo camera.
Yes. Well, this is my experiment with both rigs. I have now a lot more cameras than the problem that I have found, it's like right now I don't have time for I want to use all of them at the same time, but it's impossible. So I have to decide which one I have to use, the RXOs, the QX1s, or the DJIs, and it's a hard time finding which one. Maybe the situation next time in 2 weeks on the 14th is going to be the World Naked Bike Ride, and it's sometimes people are making wild stuff. Maybe they perform some I don't know, acts on the street, and it's a really interesting place to take shots. But I don't know if I want to take the DJIs for video or the QX1 for. But the problem with the synchronization, I have to fix them, or they are so I have to decide which one I have to, because taking all of them at the same time, it's hard.
Phyllis, how many pounds of camera gear did you carry with you through China? You had your medium format, you had your stereo
yes.
camera.
I hate to think. In total, I think I had 5 cameras, and I had to carry it all myself. I did have a backpack, a camera, photo backpack to use, but it was it was tough.
I can imagine, yeah. Well, Roberto, I think you're going to get to know those cameras really well. Find the sweet spots of each one, and then you'll know which one to pull off the shelf.
Yes, but having a lot of fun with them, so that's why we are here.
Exactly. And I can't wait to see more. And
Sure.
Again, I do encourage everyone to check out the video that he posted on YouTube. It's very impressive.
Thank you.
All right. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to add before we call it a night?
Yes, I just had a question, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
I just downloaded Owl 3D, having heard Herb's recommendation on it, and I tried to download an image on it, and it started to process the image, and then an error message came up which said stopped with code 1. Is anyone familiar with that error message on Owl 3D?
See what I can find. Code 1 is the error that it gave you?
Yeah, and no explanation, and then it wouldn't continue with the process. About 5 seconds into the process, it came up on different images, different resolutions. I tried those sort of things. Nobody knows of that one.
I'm not finding any information about that error.
Could be my computer's not up to snuff enough. It's a sort of older Windows 10 one.
You might want to try it again after the Zoom call's done.
Yeah, I will keep chugging at it. It's somewhere it'll get fixed, I'm sure.
My only advice, restart your computer, see if that helps.
Right, the usual. And my computer-friendly or savvy friend can probably solve this type of stuff.
Well, and get in touch with Herb, too. Oh, Mike, what was that, Mike?
I've seen enough action movies that if code 1 came up on the computer as an error message, I would slowly and gently mute the computer, leave the house.
Does sound like something out of Mission Impossible.
Going to explode on me, yeah. Thanks, Mike. I'm going to run now from the computer. Okay, thanks. That's my question.
Yeah.
I guess Peter. Others who use it love the thing, apparently. Herb loves it. Yeah.
But you do have to download and install it, right? You can't, it's not like a website. You have to actually use it on your computer.
Yeah, that's the only place I use it.
It's a little different.
Okay, end of question.
Well, thanks, Peter. Thank you, everyone, for sticking around and staying a little late. We had a fantastic meeting tonight. We have a very interesting subject this morning, next week, I mean. It's our first hypo stereo special subject, I think, ever. So I'm very curious to see what we come up with. Until then, thank you. Good night. I'll be sending a reminder email, and I'll see everyone next week. Thanks all.
All right.
Good night.